Good morning, everybody. Here we are again. Dr. Romoli Maurizio from Italy. And we talk about this book. This is the Italian version. A Way to Balance. And we will discuss today the 26th chapter, where I talk about my Taoism and nutrition. I have dedicated 2 chapters to food in general. The first chapter is this one, where I discuss the normal nutrition, what I suggest to everybody. Then we have another chapter, the next chapter, chapter 27, where I discuss a special kind of diet for losing weight. So today we will discuss normal nutrition. This is one of the topics that lately has become very hot. Everybody has his own idea about nutrition nowadays. And in some ways, this is good, because we start discussing things. We just don't take for granted a system that was taught us by our parents, by our religion, by our country. We try different things. This is good. The problem is that I think it has become a sort of religion. Many people who follow a certain diet, a certain system, act like religion fanatics and despising other people. And this creates division. And this is not right. We have to remember the ancient proverb, the ancient saying that they had in Rome. Divide et impera. It means divide and conquer. So there are forces inside of us and outside of us and they want to divide us men, as mankind, so that we fight each other and we don't evolve. These kind of forces, they use every means possible. And this one can be one of the best, because you don't need to be baptized or enter in a certain cult, or no, you don't have to study scriptures. No, you just have to say, okay, from now on, I'm a vegan. And they start working in our mind, telling us, why my wife is not a vegan? Why my friend is not a vegan too? So it's a danger. We can be whatever we want. The main fact is that we remember that we should avoid this weakness. Our enemies want us to be divided, to be one against each other. And if we understand the game, it's fun to find out when they are trying to separate us with these systems. When I was a vegetarian for 30 years and a vegan for 8, and when I went visiting, for example, my aunt in Tuscany, and she was having problems because she didn't know what to cook. In Tuscany there is a very rich gastronomy, so lots of jackrabbit or pork or deer, wild boar, lots of it. And so when I was there, the first thing she said to me, oh my God, I don't know what to cook for you. Obviously, but don't worry, I just don't eat meat and fish. And she was always saying, and that's why I don't know what to cook for you. So I had to suggest, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? But it was something that made her less happy to see me. It was a problem in our relationship. So after many, many years, and I decided that this created a sort of division between me and my aunt, and also with my cousin and other people. And so I started to see if this was the right course of action. Was it right for me to do this? And I made other thoughts, and in the end I decided that the game wasn't worth the candle. I don't know if you know this expression. It means, it's an ancient Roman game, and it means that you work so hard for something that is not worth while. And that's why I decided to stop being a vegetarian and a vegan, first a vegan, then a vegetarian also, because I wanted to share with people that special moment when you eat with someone. We can eat everything with other people, and then we can be a vegetarian when we are alone. It's not difficult to do this. Why don't we do this? And it's very simple to understand that when we are eating with someone, we exchange forces and energies. What I can tell you is that if you feel that you have strong opinion, strong conviction about what you should eat, what we should eat, don't look at this video. Don't read this chapter in the book. You can try all the exercises, you can find many good things in the book, but you just skip this chapter, and that's very simple. The fact that is important that you should understand that not everything someone says is right. We can learn many things from someone, and then there are other things of that person that cannot be of use for us, cannot be useful for us. So we just have to choose. That's the freedom that I suggest that you use with these words that I'm telling you. So if you want to be, if you want your convictions, your opinions about nutrition to be challenged, listen to this video and read the book, this chapter. Otherwise, no problem. You can have your own opinions about this topic and practice deer exercise or some exercises for the muscles or other good things that you can find in the book. Remember that this chapter is 20 pages long. The book is 400 pages, a lot more. So if you dare, go on, watch. Otherwise, no problem. Mainly, man is omnivore. We eat everything. And it's a great effort to stop, to refrain from eating something. Because our nature tells us inside our mind, inside our instinct, eat whatever you can digest, it's good for you. We survived in this way for thousands and thousands of years. So that's why it's so important if we decide to control our instinct. That's why it's important not to despise someone who is following a certain diet. Because first of all, he is making a great effort to control his natural desire to eat everything that is tasty and good to digest. First of all, there is this great effort, and we should appreciate this effort and not fight it. That's why, for example, I'm not a vegetarian and a vegan anymore, but I have studied ways to help people who follow this kind of diets, so that they can avoid some unbalances that I received when I was a vegetarian and a vegan due to that kind of diet. There are ways to prevent certain lacks of nutrients. There are ways where we can prevent this and take the best of these two forms of diet. And so first of all, anyone who is making an effort is important. So it doesn't matter what kind of diet, how mad your diet can be, it's important that you're trying to make an effort to control your self-esteem will increase, your will increase. We must be careful because we can make damage to our body and to our mind, to our emotions. There are certain kind of diets that can create strong imbalances, and so we have to be careful. That's my suggestion. And we have to remember that when we eat, we come in a deep, profound contact. There's something like a melt that we do, like, you know, in Star Trek, mind melt. That's the same. We make a form of melt with that being that we are eating. If it's a salad, it's a being, it's a vegetable being. If that food is a steak, is a cow. We are coming in contact with this being that has feelings, that has emotions, that is fighting for his own place in the group where he lives. But also the vegetables do the same thing. The last studies show that also vegetables have some rudimental forms of emotions. They cannot show them, but as the animals can do. But with certain devices, we can understand that we can get the proof that they have some kind of emotion. So whenever we eat someone, it's a someone, it's not something. We are used to call it it. Food, we call it it. It's not a it. It's more a he or a she. So we can do this having this profound gratitude, being grateful for that being to offer himself or herself to like a sacrifice for us, to allow us to continue our life. We cannot live without them. They can live without us. So if we are so grateful towards these beings that sacrifice themselves for us to give us life, what can we give them in return? Evolution. They can share, partially, but they can share some of our features, some of our experience when they come inside of us, because when we eat them, they come inside of us. Our body, our molecules come from them. And our energy comes from them. So almost everything comes from them. They become inside, they enter inside of us, they become us. And when they become us, they can feel, for example, our fears, our objects